Hi everyone, these are your 1G notes. In these notes we'll be covering writing expressions for the perimeter and area of a rectangle, and also writing expressions in problem-solving situations. So since we'll be doing a little bit of geometry here, I have a joke for you. It's my geometry joke for you. My geometry joke for you is this. Why was the geometry book so adorable? Why was the geometry book so adorable? Well, it was so adorable because it had acute angles. I knew you would love that. And so there's my joke for you. Why was the geometry book so adorable? Because it had acute angles. All right, so we're going to be talking about numerical expressions. So a numerical expression is a math problem that does not have an equal sign. This is an example of a numerical expression. It has numbers in it, and it's a math problem, but it doesn't have an equal sign. It does have some operation symbols, but no equal sign. We're going to move on then to an algebraic expression. So an algebraic expression is an expression that contains at least one variable. It usually contains constants and operations, but it does not have an equal sign. So here's an algebraic expression. It has a variable. This is 2 times x. The variable is x. The 2 is the constant or the coefficient there. And then we can see that the operation there would be multiplication. Here are some examples of problems that are not expressions because they have equal signs. So they are not expressions. So algebraic expression, numerical expression. They are math problems that don't have equal signs. Okay, we're going to review how to find the perimeter and area of rectangles. So just a reminder, I've got a rectangle here, and to find its perimeter, I add up all the sides. Well, I see that 2 of my sides are labeled, but I'm missing the label on the other 2 sides. But remember, with rectangles, opposite sides have to be equal. So my perimeter here would be 11 plus 11 for the 2 long sides, and then plus 7 for the 2 shorter sides. And when I add all of those together, I'm going to get 36 feet. Remember, we always want to include our labels. Since this is given to us, this problem is given to us in feet, we want to make sure that we add feet there. And then the area, remember, area is always length times width. So we would do 7 times 11 to get 77. And then remember, when we do area, we're talking in square units. Remember, area is the distance inside, perimeter is the distance on the outside. So 77 square units, or, oh, I shouldn't say units here, I should say feet, right? Because we know the units. So square feet. Or you might remember that you can write that 77 feet with the little 2 up at the top. It's a shorthand way to write that. Remember, in this situation, when it's a label, this exponent goes on the unit. Okay, if we put that exponent on the 77, that would mean 77 times 77. All right, I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to work out the area and perimeter for this rectangle right here. So give yourself a little review here, and then after you've done that, start the video and check yourself. So over here, for perimeter, you should have added 30 plus 30 plus 12 plus 12 and gotten 84 feet. And then for your area, you should have done 30 times 12 to get 360 square feet. So your answers here should be 84 feet and 360 square feet. Okay, for just a little refresher and to help you remember which is area and which is perimeter, I want to share this YouTube area and perimeter song with you. It's by a group called the Bazillions. My friend Perimeter, he's a bit of an outsider. He's on edge today. Then again, he always seems to be that way. And if you want to know what he's all about, add the length of all the sides to figure him out. That's all you need to do.
takes up a lot of space. You can always find him all over the place. And if you wanna know what he's all about, multiply the length times width and you'll find out. That's all you need to do. Always stays around the area in my friend area fills the space created by perimeter. And if you want to know what they're all about, sing the song again until there is no doubt.
Okay, so I hope that little song helps you remember which is perimeter and which is area. Perimeter is on the outside edge, area is what fills the inside. Perimeter goes around the area. All right, so now our directions say write an expression to represent the perimeter and the area of each rectangle. So we're going to write expressions, which means that we're not going to have equal signs. And because we have variables in this situation, we're going to have algebraic expressions. So perimeter for this first one is going to be 13, and then we know that the opposite side is also 13, so 13 plus 13, and then we have 5a, and then we know the opposite side would be 5a. Now, you could leave it like that, and I would accept that as correct. But we can combine like terms. That means we can combine the numbers here, and we can combine the numbers that have variables. Think of this as like 5 apples. 5 apples plus 5 apples is 10 apples. But we don't know if these are apples or oranges or bananas, so we just can add only those two numbers. So we could add 13 and 13 to get 26, plus 5 apples and 5 apples is 10 apples. And we could leave it at that, 26 plus 10a. We can't figure this out anymore unless we would know what a is. If we were told what a is equal to, then we could do some math and figure out the perimeter. But the way it is, all we can do is write this expression to tell what the perimeter of this rectangle is. All right, so we can do the same thing for area. Area is going to be the length times the width. So this would be 13 times 5a. Now, while you can't add unlike terms, you can multiply unlike terms. So if you wanted to take the next step and wanted to multiply 13 times 5, you could write that this is 65a. So again, you can't add unlike terms, but you can multiply unlike terms. Now again, I would accept either of these two answers as correct, so if you want to go that far, that's great. If you want to take it a step further and combine like terms, you can do this and this. All right, let's look at the next problem here. Okay, for our next problem, we have 18k plus 18k, these two long sides, plus 10, the two shorter sides, for our perimeter. When we add those up, we can combine the 18k's, there's two of those, to make 36k, and we can combine the 10 to make 20. I wrote 10, that's 20 there. I did forget to say that we want to make sure we label them. So perimeter is in units and area is in square units. So here you can see my units. All right, then for the area, it's 18k times 10, and remember with multiplication we can combine unlike terms, and so that would be 180k square units. So I would accept this answer right here, But if you want to go a step further, you can do this. And I would accept this answer right here, but if you want to go a step further, you can do this. If you're uncertain about your combining, you could write both of these answers, and I could check then to see that you did this correctly, and I could also check then to see if you did that correctly. Okay, I'd like you to do the next one down here on your own. I'd like you to stop the video, try this one by yourself, and then we'll check it. Okay, so for perimeter, we should have 7b plus 6 plus 7b plus 6. That's these two longer sides, plus 9 plus 9. Now we have a lot of combining to do here. We have 6 and 6 is 12, and 9 and 9 is 18. So we can add 12 and 18 to get 30. So we can take all of these numbers out. We've taken care of those. We added those up, and that's 30. And then 7b and 7b would give us 14b. So it could be 14b plus 30. I would accept this or this as a correct answer. And let's not forget to label. So perimeter is just units. For area, then we would have done 7b plus 6. And all of that should be times 9. So I'm going to put my 9 in front. You usually see it written that way. Now you can use the distributive property, and you can multiply 9 times 7 to get 63b here. And you can multiply 9 times 6 to get 54 here. Units squared or square units. Either one of those are interchangeable. But again, this is fine. This is an acceptable answer right here. All right, let's look at the very last one. We are going to use our perimeter here for 3c plus 8 plus 3c plus 8. So that's the two longer sides. Plus 2 for the two shorter sides. And we can leave that as it is, or we can combine those. And if we combine those, we're going to get 6c plus 20, and that would be units. And then for our area, it's going to be 3c plus 8, all that multiplied by 2, length times width. And if we want to simplify that, we could do 2 times 3c, which is 6c, plus 2 times 8, which is 16, units squared or square units. But again, you could just leave your answer right like this, just to make sure that you label whichever your answer looks like. And also, let me re-emphasize, if you want to do this and then try this, if you get that one right, I'll accept it as correct, and I'll give you kudos for trying that second one. All right, that's the first part of our notes for 1G. Tune into the next video for the second section of 1G.